Hello and welcome to the Graham Taylor Show, where we speak with successful entrepreneurs and business owners and find out exactly what it takes to succeed in today's cutthroat business world. Today I have a special guest, Marc Eichner. I've worked with Marc for a while, and Marc's an amazing entrepreneur. He's been doing this for many years. He's a personal branding and business branding expert. Marc has helped many companies scale from 0 to 3 million euros a year and more. And he does this through what he calls values-based marketing and talent marketing strategies. Marc has an illustrious career. He's been a top performer, top 0.01% performer in university, and has helped many businesses and teaches many businesses how to leverage their marketing in order to generate leads and build powerful brands. And one thing I know about Marc, he loves surfing. Any opportunity to get on a surfboard, and he will take it. So please join me in welcoming to the show an amazing person, an amazing entrepreneur, Marc Eichner.
Hi.
Marc, welcome to the show.
Hi, nice to be here.
Great. Thanks to be here, Marc. Now, I appreciate your time, and let's jump straight in. So please, will you share with us what's your story? What's your journey? Like, what first attracted you to value-based marketing?
Values-based marketing. So after university, I went on this typical management consulting journey. Someone who has like a well-polished CV needs to go to a management consulting firm. And I realized, I love the work. I love the thinking work. I love the strategic and conceptual work. And it was kind of an amazing experience on the one side. And on the other side, on the personal side, it was a very bad experience. Because, I felt like something's wrong, but I couldn't name it. And it went to a point where I actually burned out and got really, really sick. And it took me a couple of years to recover from it. And I had a lot of time to reflect on what was happening and why I had this bad feeling before. And I realized that basically I was living the life of someone else. I was living the life of someone like that society somehow formed in a way, but that was not me. And I lost a lot of energy on this kind of way of working, these hours of working, this schedule of working, this kind of pressure environment. I realized that I needed to make a change. I needed to make a real change, and it really struck me that I always tried to, what people say, I tried to fit into the system that was built. And I did not see a lot of like role models that did it differently. So that somehow built their world around their needs, not like adjusting to what the world was needing from them or seemed to need from them, but creating the world in which they could flourish, in which they could fulfill their needs. And so when I realized that, I started this radical shift, and I realized, okay, I have some marketing skills, and I have a potential client, and so this was the first time I said, okay, I want to now, be a solopreneur and use all the digital means that I can use to create like a work schedule, a weekly work schedule that feels right to me, and where I can live at the place where it feels right to me. And since I love traveling a lot, I love surfing a lot, I went to Lanzarote in the Canary Islands and
Yes.
started there my agency. So and after I was living there in a surf house, and people saw me working there, and one woman from France, she told me that after she went back from Lanzarote, she quit her job and yeah, wanted to do the same. So just being able to work with a laptop from anywhere. And yeah, it was very much about this kind of freedom. So that I lacked. I'm not this type of person who is able to work 6 or 7 days a week for 60 or 80 hours. I just cannot do that. I have my, times where I'm super efficient and I can do the work in maybe 3 or 4 hours, where others take 10. But then I also need the times to recover, and I need to be able to take the time for myself. And yeah, this kind of flexibility only came when I made the decision to decide that I can make a real decisions on how I work and when I work and where I work. And
Yes.
values-based marketing is very much related to that, because I realized that because when you communicate, like I started to communicate what I was doing. I was saying, okay, I'm doing it this way because of who I am, and other people started to relate to me, not just the woman from France, but also other people. And there I realized, okay, just by communicating how I see the world and how I shape the world and what is important to me in my life somehow attracts the people into my life that I actually want to have in my life. And so I realized, okay, using that for business, for marketing is absolutely essential, because you just want to work with the people that you love working with, that the people that give you energy, that the people that share your values. And yeah, so this is basically the story of how I came to values-based marketing.
And would you share with us, what's your methodology? What are some of the best practices with branding and value-based marketing? And what gets the best results?
Well, there is not like a complete, like strict framework, because every person is in a different situation. Every entrepreneur is in a different situation. Some have, many employees. Some have high growth goals. Some have like a more like a maintenance strategy, and it basically depends. But let's say like you're starting out, and you realize something is could be better in your life. You're not maybe doing something, you feel like a little bit boxed in, and you want to shape the business exactly that fits to your personality. So the first thing that I would do is looking for your, what I call the joy niche. And the joy niche is, everyone talks about niching down, niching down, niching down, which is can be important. It depends on what kind of market it is, and what kind of if it's like a fast growing market, a very like where the early adopters are still in there, then niching down is not that important. But in a more mature market, niching down is absolutely important. And
Yes.
so when you define your target group, you don't only define it in terms of what how much money do they have, are they able to afford you, which is also important, but very much about like, is that exact target group, can you see yourself spending the next 5 to 10 years working with this target group? Can you do it? Is the target group, are the people in there, are they do you love working with them? Do you get energy working with them, or do you lose energy working with them? Are they a pain in the ass? Yeah, and making that distinction also between, there are these hard facts. You can, like, if you have like a, let's say your target audience or like your target group are agency owners. Yeah, they are the agency owners that have share your values, and there are agency owners that don't share your values. So making that distinction is super important for defining your joy niche as well. Like, what kind of values do you want to live, and to have this clarity about yeah, who you are, how you imagine a good relationship with your clients, and yeah, communicating that clearly then in the end. So that's why you need this kind of joy niche. And when you have the joy niche, you of course need to create like an appealing value proposition,
Hmm.
and um, but including this the values in terms of like what kind of outcomes do you give your clients, and also the kind of the values that are basically setting the tone of the environment, that stem from your personality, from your personal values. And
I
yeah,
see.
I think this is super undervalued. Uh, People don't really understand the power of it, or well, they understand it in B2C business, because all the major brands are using this. Values-based marketing is there for many years, but in B2B it's basically not being used. And
Mm.
yeah, and then um, of course you need to decide on the marketing formats and channels that you want to use, and then of course the sales funnel and so on, and test. But yeah, so basically this is the core where you need to do things a little bit differently.
So basically, it's more, it's helping you build your business around yourself rather than uh, like just building something and then finding out later on that it's not a good match to who you are, right? It's starting to put some thought into that. Am I understanding correctly?
Yes, that's one part, and the other part is that using exactly this knowledge about what makes you different, or what makes you different in terms of values, and communicating exactly this
Mm.
brings the people in that you want to work with, and they see even more, a higher value in working with you than the others, because
Mm.
they see, it's not just like the cost of a product, or like the result of a product in terms of, if I for instance I buy a lead generation service, and the person promises me 1,000 leads per month, and I have to pay 100,000 euros. Okay, this is one result, but the other result is I'm going to communicate with this person a lot. So is this communication gonna cost me a lot of energy? Is it fun? Do I get out of these conversations inspired, or am I like saying, "Oh God, I have to talk to this person again on Monday. Please, could the weekend not be one day longer?" You know, this is something that really matters to people. Like how we spend our times, with whom, and does it give energy or not?
Mm. And maybe for a business owner who hasn't given this much thought, right? And they've just been building their business. They got a few different types of clients. How do you help them to define where to find their joy niche? Where do they get started?
Well, you get started with defining, first of all, like who you are, basically what is really important to you. This is a reflection process, and it takes time. It's
Mm.
not something, you fill out like one personality test or something, and then you get the result and then you're done. No, it takes longer, but it's also you get closer to the truth over time. You need to start the
I see.
process and have that in mind, and get closer and closer. There is a favorite. I have a favorite. One of my favorite quotes. It's from Michelangelo, and this Italian artist, and he was a carver. So he carved this. Maybe you have seen this angels that he carved out of marble,
Yes, yes.
and they're amazingly beautiful, right? And and then he basically said that I saw the angel in the marble, and I carved until I set him free. And
Mm.
so basically, we are basically this kind of marble. We we have some things around ourselves that hinder us from being our true selves, and that other people see, you know, the uniqueness, the unique beauty that we have. And we just need to find it. So we need to carve this out, and we need to have like this imagination of who are we. So we need to first understand who we are, and then we can, when we understand this, when we are, the closer we are to the truth, the more beautiful it's going to be. And when we understand this, then we can bring it out to the world. And yeah, so this is the absolute first step on how to do that. And then you can
Wow.
basically, you start with like with abstract values. You define what kind of values you have. Like you reflect with people that you know, with observations that you make. Maybe you get a coach for that, for different areas that help you reflect on things. And yeah, over time you will see more and more how your angel is going to look like. And in the meantime, you already start with, and that's the second part of it. You need to have this start vector. You need to start thinking about what might be, you know, your ideal target group. What kind of people are there that you want to make happy, basically, that you want to have, you want to spend time with, and this is a journey. So it's not necessarily like you can maybe have it already next week, but for most people it takes a little bit of time. It doesn't mean that you cannot earn money in the meantime. You start somewhere. You need to explore, so you need to make contact, and you also realize more on the way, like how does it make you feel. This is also part of the reflection process. When you are in a sales call or when you're meeting some other people, and then you say, oh, this person is doing something I don't like. I somehow feel very weird. Why is that? And then you realize, okay, I have this kind of values. It just doesn't fit. And then you can be next time more specific also in your messaging on social media, in your overall communication. What is it that you love to do, and what is like you can be, you learn and learn, and then you can communicate more specifically this angel. Yeah.
That makes sense. And maybe for somebody they've got a client, it's a client from hell. They hate dealing with this person. It's sucking all of their energy. Like, what would be your advice to them? Like, how? Because sometimes it can be a bit of a mental block. Like, oh, what if I lose my clients? How do you deal with that?
Yeah. If I would not. So first of all, I would determine why is it. Is it something, maybe the expectations are not set right? Like why is that client such a pain? I would first see the reasons. Like sometimes, yeah. Also, you know, talking honestly, like about how the other person makes you feel already. Um, you know, can change things. I had one incident. I was new, and it was in the where I was a strategy consultant.
Yes.
And yeah, after 1 month, I was sent to India after 3 weeks actually, to make an audit of the investment of the firms the company I was working for had invested in, and I came back with a report, and somehow the CEO was not happy with it. And he talked to me in a way like I would never talk to someone in my whole life. And I exactly said this, like, you know, I would never dare to talk to someone like this, you know, this is not acceptable. And then what happened was, like, he apologized, and changed. He changed it.
Wow.
And so these things can also happen. But this also, you communicate your value, like how do you want to be treated, how you treat others, and what kind of benefit is there when you do it in this way, you know? Back there, like, you know, this is not the way to build trust, in my opinion, you know, to you know, have someone fresh from university where you basically don't give any instructions and then send them alone to India for 10 days to do something they've never done before, and then come and then expect that you know, they should have somehow read your mind about you know, this, and you know, this is human. This is humanity. This is like, this is normal. Everyone makes mistakes. I have made a mistake there as well, probably as well. That's not a problem. The CEO made a big mistake in my eyes as well. It's not a problem. But how we treat each other in the process, this is where the real problem starts. Yeah. Or can start, or where we can excel and get a lot of energy from it. Yeah, we can learn from it and have fun with it. And I'm on the having fun and learning as fast as possible side of things. So yeah, and when you can make that your client understand, then and see the same picture of how you picture the relationship, then this can also change. When you integrate this kind of values-based, these values-based approaches into your marketing, then automatically you have the education in your marketing for your clients, so you don't have to talk that much about these kind of things anymore. Yeah, and of course, like if the client is not, you know, changing in the behavior, and it makes you still feel like you don't want to talk to this person, or like it's hard to talk to this person, it sucks your energy, then just quit it.
That makes sense, and actually, so many golden nuggets dropped there. I love what you said too, where you basically communicating how your values, how you want to be treated at every step of this process. That's my biggest takeaway from that story. Thank you for sharing.
You're very welcome.
Awesome. Now, Marc, I just want to shift the gears a little bit. If we're going to talk about productivity, like how do you stay productive? What's your morning routine like?
My morning routine is I get up, I brush my teeth, I shower, and I eat something. That's it. Um, this is exactly it. Yeah, it's like in my opinion, routines are important, but routines are they need to fit to the person. And of course, sometimes you need to, you know, be a little bit inauthentic and try things out if they fit for you. But if you already have tried other things and you felt like they're not fitting to you, then maybe it's not the right thing for you. Of course, sometimes you need to be disciplined, and it takes like a longer time to find out, you know, is it something for me or not. But yeah, for me, I experimented a lot. You know, I love to sleep long. It's important for me to sleep long. I sleep 9.5 hours per day, and everyone was talking about like whenever you hear something, you know, oh yeah, successful business person, you know, get up at 5:30 in the morning and then go to the gym, and you know, their whole day is like full packed of routines, and it's just it feels so horrible. Like that's fine if someone else wants to do it, but and is successful with it, that's very fine. But I'm definitely not going to do it like this. I want to have the flexibility of the day. I want to be able to stop working whenever I want to, when I don't feel productive, yeah, productivity has not been my issue anyways. So probably I don't think that adding more routines make a lot of sense for me.
That's really interesting. So it's more like going with the flow type of approach to how you structure your days.
Yes, it's very intuitive. That's also, I learned this also when I was sick, that I need to listen to myself and I to my body. What is it that my body needs? Yeah, I was very bad at it, very very bad. I grew up with a father who has an amazing discipline, and I was raised like this, and not that I needed to be disciplined, but this was like my role model in a way, and I got this discipline, and the discipline was so strong in me that I completely neglected, essential needs, of sleep, not enough movement, not doing other things that are fun for me that somehow would balance things during the day or during the week or during the months. And I got into this and I had to learn, I had to reconnect to myself in a lot of situations. Like, how do I actually feel right now? Because I didn't realize it. I was just like, okay, I want to deliver this result, so I'm gonna start and I'm gonna finish it. And when I finished, I can do something else. And now on the way, I feel like, okay, mm, somehow now I would rather go outside and go for 2 hours, take a walk, or go to the sauna, or whatever it is. Um, um, I actually designed my schedule like this. Before, like, I had a lot of calls during the week, many calls, like every day, like 3, 4, 5, 6 hours of calls. And now I reduced it to a maximum of 2 hours per day. So this gives me the flexibility, and of course So I had to think about, like, how do I shift my business model? What kind of business model supports this kind of approach to my schedule? And I had to make change. I have to make changes there. Also, what does it mean in terms of my marketing? Like, what kind of marketing can I do, and what is not so good for me? All of these kind of, when you understand what is necessary for you. For me, this kind of flexibility is important. And then you
Yes.
can make changes that support. You need to change the environment so that it supports your innate needs. And yeah,
That
did this answer
that's
your
awesome.
question, or did I get a little bit sidetracked?
No, I think it's a good answer, and it's like, again, it's you're building the lifestyle that you want around yourself and your needs, rather than having a business dictate how you need to live. And I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, very well summarized. Yeah.
Thank you. And like, I'm curious. You've worked with so many entrepreneurs. Like, what's the most important attribute that you've seen that differentiates successful entrepreneurs from those who don't make it?
This is very hard to say, because I think there are no things that everything this is not a general thing. It's always individual. When you look at uh, the biographies of different successful people, they tend to be very different. They tend to be very different. Introverts, extroverts, people that did leadership style of micromanagement, or others more like, very very different people, very different people. And also there was a longer term there's a lot of research on this kind of leadership types, like
Yes.
what does it make, what does it make to what does it take to be a good leader? Yeah, they wanted to find out what traits there are that make a good leader, a successful business person. And in the end, they didn't find, like, they tried and tried, but all of this, that didn't find these traits. There are not these traits. They are always different, and it depends on the situation. It depends on the point in time. It depends on the culture. It depends on very much on the personality of the person, and it's very hard to narrow down, like to generalize these things because they're individual. And I believe that many people can be successful entrepreneurs, and if this is right for them, so you feel that you have the feeling, okay, I want to become an entrepreneur. This is a work that fulfills me. This is something where I can create the world in the way that I enjoy it, and you'll feel that. Yeah. And also the question is, how do you define success? Because I don't define success as are you successful if you earn 1 million per year? Are you successful if it's 10, 100? Or are you successful only if you're a billionaire? This is, in my opinion, a completely wrong approach and to measuring success, the money side. For me, success is, how aligned is the world around you to your true self. How much joy and energy do you get out of it? This is, in my opinion, for me personally, this is success. And someone who is happy as an employee in a certain company or a certain environment, this is perfect. This is absolutely brilliant. Why would you change that? Why would you become an entrepreneur? You just need to also in a company. You can also make changes, right? You can change the environment also that it fits to your needs. There are environments that give more freedom, more possibility to change things, and there are others that give less. So when you feel boxed in there, then you maybe find another company where there's a different kind of leadership, a different kind of culture, and also you just need to take the initiative often to make changes. You have a lot of power, especially nowadays where there is like a lack of supply for employees in most in most talent markets. So you have a lot of power to make things change, and you don't have to be an entrepreneur for that.
That's a very interesting view, and I have to agree. Like, there's not a cookie cutter approach. Like, not everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur in any case. And so again, it boils down to knowing yourself and getting clarity on the life that you want to live, and then building towards that rather than somebody else's definition of success.
Exactly.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And then when we're talking about branding and putting this picture together, like, what are the most important factors when it comes to building this brand and monetizing that brand to get that your version of success?
What it takes?
Yes.
In sense of?
In terms, like what's some of the most important factors to keep in mind in order to build this out?
I think the most important factors, I think I mentioned, you have to create this, you need to know exactly who yourself and how the environment needs to look like that you want to be in. Then you need to look at the target group and define it in the way that it makes sense in terms of the value you can deliver for them and the values you can deliver. Mm-hmm. And and then you need to, investigate this relationship between yourself and this target group, and what you can tweak and where you can make things different and more enticing. And then you just communicate in your marketing what you have learned in terms of value and values.
So within that, are there any specific strategies that are working really well in resonating in today's market?
There are, in terms of branding, it's always individual. So it, it's there is not a unique brand strategy like once, or like certain brand strategy ways. I mean, that's exactly the goal of marketing, right? To make things different. So
Yes.
you need to find, based on your resources, find the right strategy for yourself. And yeah, and I mean, the approaches on how you can create this strategy for yourself, they are different, and they are different depending on which stage you're in your business, depending on how free you are in making changes in your business, and many other factors. And but yeah, this is where things are different. The strategies there are absolutely different.
Okay, that makes sense. So essentially, no cookie cutter approach. And then, like tied into that, like, what's the biggest mistake people or biggest mistakes people make when it comes to their branding?
Um, I think one of the biggest mistakes is to think that you need to be super smart or super different to make it work. And this usually leads to that people don't start with it, because they feel like, okay, no, before I get myself out in the market with marketing, then I need to be very good at it. I need to be perfect in it, like the pressure of perfectionism. And also sometimes I can see that, like, exactly when they think they need to be super smart or different, then you can see it on LinkedIn posts or on blog posts, where people try to be super smart. You see that they put in a lot of thought, and they package it in a way that is supposed to be super, supposed to be perceived as super smart, and they lose complete track of that this is not giving the value any audience, the audience any value. And so this is like a typical mistake. And the problem is that they don't realize that they are already unique and super different by themselves as persons, and they have everything that it needs to be perceived as different, and they just need to focus more on understanding the world of their ideal target group and addressing these needs, and as opposed to making up something abstract, super smart. Yeah.
So, any tips for somebody maybe in that position to be able to get a deeper understanding of their target market and build that connection?
Listening. Listening and asking the right questions. I mean, there are like a lot of books on how to ask the questions in the right way so that they're not biased and so on. Like, this is like a whole topic that would fill many hours. And in listening, a lot of marketers and especially salespeople have the tendency to wanting to convince the audience or the counterpart, and it's you don't need to convince people. You in the first place, you first need to understand the people, and then you can start convincing them when you like others, when you really understand what they want and how you can help them, and if it really makes a difference in their life or in their business. And yeah, I, I think this is like also one of the most powerful sales techniques at all, because heavily underused. Even though everyone is saying, yeah, you need to be listening and so on, but actually, when you're in the last sales course that I've been into, like when I was dragged into sales course,
Yes.
I had very bad experiences. Like, it was like someone, you could see someone has their program in mind, like on how he wants to influence me to buy something. Or there was not a real like interest in me solving problems with that. It was just, yeah, in the end, please buy. Yeah. And I think a much better approach is really to first understand if you can help the person, and how, and if your offer is really like the right thing for them. Maybe even like a competitor or some other way would be better for them in their situation, then you can do it. Then I would also like say that, because it's just in the end, when you, well, this is the difference, like when you build a brand and are also long-term oriented. Of course, you need short-term results,
Yes.
you need to do some sales activation, but when you have a long-term plan, then your business is going to be built heavily on reputation. So when you decline people because as your clients, because you maybe not the perfect, or like not the person that can help them the best, there are maybe other options that can help them better, and you decline them, then this is an amazing help for them, because this is like, this is, this is amazing value. Like, this is the difference between like effectiveness and efficiency. So if you have the wrong if you use a spoon to dig a hole, then it's gonna take a while until you get the hole as big as you want it to be. If someone gives you the right tool, then a caterpillar or something, then the world looks very different. So this is an amazing value that you can give someone, and just by declining them, or like saying, okay, there might be another or better options for you. And this also builds your reputation. Also, the side effect is it makes your services scarce. It's not for everyone. It's not, you're gonna only help the person, the people, the businesses that you can really make a difference. It's not, it's a little bit exclusive in a way, and so it makes it, the value also being felt as even higher. And
I
people talk
really like
about it.
that.
Yeah, people talk about it.
But like a lot of people do talk about this, but how few businesses actually truly implement this?
I hope more and more, because it's yeah it, this kind of honest way of doing things, and building relationships is is it's the absolute difference to this kind of cold economic atmosphere that is usually in, or like that I have often experienced in business, and that I don't want anymore, or like that I have said, like, I will not work with this kind of things, or like environments. And I think more and more people are realizing that. More and more people see, okay, yeah, we're earning good money, but something is missing, and this is the
Yes.
missing part. Like, it's not the money that makes people happy. It's the lack of money that makes people not happy. But if there's a certain amount of money, then yeah, what is there? How can you increase your happiness and satisfaction?
Mm.
It's with the environment that you create for yourself, with the relationships that you have, and yeah.
I
So
agree.
I think over time, more and more people will start doing that, and and I mean, this has one advantage for for entrepreneurs, because they are completely free on creating the system that allows this kind of practices. Because
Mm.
let's say you're a salesperson, and you're in a you have your goals. You need to have 50 sales at the end of the quarter,
Yes.
and then it feels like, huh, how can I decline this? Like, I am not gonna fulfill my quota. This is gonna have bad negative consequences for me, and yeah. So this is like things that cannot be measured are not necessarily not valuable. um, because this the everything that you pay into the brand has a value, but it's
Mm.
not being measured directly, because it has like a long term it may unfold its energy in the long term, and yeah. So these kind of businesses have a harder time implementing these practices than, let's say, a fresh startup or a solopreneur, or an entrepreneur with a small company.
Very true. Very true. And um, so, in terms of uh, you've had a lot of success growing different companies in various industries. So, what would you say separated you from other people? Like, can you walk us through, but step by step, your process? Like, what do you do to help some of the companies you work with grow?
I think mm, what helped me very much was my empathy, um, to not just the results, but also just getting the feeling of where are the entrepreneurs in right now, and mm, the, the personal side of things is super important, to getting the information that you need to make smarter decisions, to getting like the complete picture of how things are in the business, and taking some time in order to establish these relationships. I think this always helped me a lot.
Yes.
Um, I think I usually there are two modes of how I operate. Um, when it comes to relationships, I tend to take more time. I tend to, I always have time for a coffee or something with someone. I take this time actively because I love it. It's just amazing to connect, and to share experiences, and yeah, to see how things are going, and to learn from each other, and to take more time for this. And but not in this kind of I have to talk to 100 people in the next month now, and do lunch and dinner, and gonna meet someone new every time. I mean, this approach works probably as well, but it's not for me. I don't feel comfortable with this. I rather I know that I like to rather build great relationships with just a few people,
Mm.
and yeah, so I think this this were the two things that helped me a lot.
Very, very interesting. And so I think we've covered this question quite a bit, but I'd like to dive into it anyway. So you started your entrepreneurial journey very young, but what what made you decide to become an
Mm.
entrepreneur, and what's made you stick to it through the years?
Um, well, I didn't stick to it. That's why I got employed, but after university. But yeah, so I think it was with 14. I basically stumbled into it. I didn't even know. I was somehow dragged to it. I was into esports. I built a Unreal tournament clan at the time, a competitive clan, and that was the time where in the house of my parents, for the first time we had like fast internet, and yeah, so then the clan of course needed a website, and so.
Ah,
I downloaded from Kazaa at this time, all sorts of tools like Photoshop and other design tools at this time it was called Macromedia Fireworks, which was then bought by Adobe later. And Fireworks is uh, my absolute favorite tool. Probably no one knows that anymore, but it's like Illustrator and Photoshop mixed for web design. Yeah, okay, I'm nerding a little bit now. So,
awesome.
but you see, like I was dragged into it because I just loved what I was doing, and I still love it very much. And yeah, and from this, it just started that other clients wanted to have websites as well, and
Yes.
then we realized, okay, we can also sell web space. So we started a web
Mm.
space company, and this is how it started. So I was always like in this kind of marketing, little bit, online world somehow, and yeah. My appetite, I didn't realize that I was an entrepreneur at the time, or like I didn't feel like, I was just doing stuff. It was cool.
Yeah.
And over time, yeah, like this hunger for building things, that was always there.
Mm.
I just decided after university once that I wanted to learn from like a seasoned entrepreneur. That's why I went to work in this investment firm, and then I somehow thought, okay, I have to continue in this consulting world, and change the company to another consulting firm, and yeah. But then I realized that I should have probably stayed with my own things that I was
Mm.
doing anyways. That would have been better for me.
And like, when did you realize that you love teaching and that you love working with entrepreneurs?
Teaching. I I realized it in university.
Hmm.
I love abstract concepts very much, and yeah, I love models. I love visualizing stuff so that people can understand it more easily. And yeah, somehow it just comes very natural. I've somehow naturally often been a mentor to people, even though I did not actively apply for that. And sometimes I think I'm very good in thinking in systems. So
Mm.
I this is like where I'm very slow at the one hand time. I'm a very slow entrepreneur, and then a very fast entrepreneur at the same time. So often it takes me quite a couple of months to figure something out, like to completely understand the system, and then but once that I understand it, I'm super fast in making a decision and making like very good decisions.
Ah,
Yeah, so mm, yeah, I think
that's interesting.
this helps to also be able to explain things, how things are working to other people, and it's just a lot of fun for me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And could you tell us a bit more? Like, how do you work with clients today? What's your process, and how do you get them the results?
Well, it's different. So there are like I have one-on-one programs where I work closely together with the entrepreneurs for
Hmm.
many months, even years. And then there are like this like group coaching sessions every week where we gather people in the community where they can ask questions and give each other answers as well. I also give some answers, and and this is supported like with a video and video content and workbooks for certain processes to speed it up.
Mm.
And yeah, in the news format, like, we just launched a live challenge where we have like a 21-day LinkedIn agency sales challenge where we help agency owners, professionals, and everyone who wants to build like an agency or offer agency services specifically for LinkedIn, how to promote their services and how to sell their services. And this is done in a 21-day format where there's like every day there are very short video lessons plus 3 coaching sessions on the way, and there's always this community Q&A 24/7, like the typical membership course stuff. That works
Yes.
amazing because it's a lot of fun and you can get the results very fast. Yeah.
Excellent. I've been through the courses that you've put together to as well, and the information is always excellent. So I can definitely vouch for your ability to make shifts in mindset and to really get complex processes across in a very digestible way.
Thank you.
Great. And okay. Now, one last question before I shift gears here. Like, I'm curious, what's the best thing that you've been able to do for somebody else because of your success?
That my family is not worried about my health anymore. That's the most. That's the that's what I've been able to do.
Wow, that's that's actually quite profound. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay, Mark. So these questions, I didn't send them through to you. So this is the quick fire round. The idea is just like as soon as the thought comes to you, I thought your head just answer as quickly and as naturally as possible. Um, okay, so how does that sound? You ready?
I'm ready.
Awesome. Okay, so are you introverted or extroverted?
Introverted, 90%.
Introverted. Nice. PC or Mac?
Both.
Both. Android or Apple?
Apple.
Apple. What's one business tool that you can't live without?
My laptop. Or you mean a software or something?
Yes, it's a business tool. So maybe give a software as well. Like what would be one software?
Yeah, Adobe Fireworks.
Awesome, awesome. And what's your dream car if you have one?
Car.
Yeah.
I don't have a dream car.
Ah,
I'm not a car person. You can ask me about my dream surfboard. That's something different.
what's your dream surfboard?
uh, that's a little bit nerdy, but I just discovered that there are these surfboards. Like usually the surfboards are shaped symmetrical, but
Yes.
since you're like either right or left foot is in front, goofy or regular, then it means that the weight that you put on the board is different. So there are I discovered them now. They probably exist for longer, but I've seen them the first time. There are boards that are shaped like asymmetrical. So I want one of those.
That's
They're
awesome.
supposed to be even better.
That's awesome. And okay, what's your favorite business book or course?
My favorite business book is Turn the Ship Around by
Ah,
David Marquet. It opened my eyes in terms of leadership. That you can even make a hierarchical organization integrate, like you can run it completely differently and um, with much more efficiency and productivity and overall happiness.
nice. And okay, are you a dog person or a cat person?
I'm a cat person.
Cat person. And who are your business role models or figures who inspire you?
I think I have a lot of people that think they're inspiring, but I don't have like one role model that I can point out and say, okay, this is like wow.
Hmm.
But this is also because um, I realized I don't fit in to this typical things. Like maybe
Mhm.
there are some role models that are no one knows that go different paths. Then yeah, I met one or two, but you would not know them, so it doesn't matter to mention them. And yeah, so that's my answer.
And if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Mm, Wherever I am right now, at the moment. So maybe we're moving to Portugal next year, or somewhere else in the world. So we will see.
Awesome. And then last question. If you could go back to when you first started in business, what's the one lesson you teach your younger self and why?
Mm, um, yeah, to practice listening to yourself and acting upon these needs that you find out. Even if it means, um, you know, making radical changes in your life that come with, that feel painful in the beginning, but that will after be a very big relief.
Wow. That's a very powerful message. Very powerful. So, Mark, thank you so much for your time. Before we close this session off, what's the best way for my listeners to learn more about you and get your help?
Just connect with me on LinkedIn. It's LinkedIn /in/Marc Eichner, Marc with C, Eichner, Eichner, or come by my website, monetizing-individuality.com, which is actually not my website by its own. It's our community's website. Get in touch.
Perfect. I'll also link in the description of the show your website, so to make it easier for people to get in touch with you. Marc, thank you so much for your time. This has been an awesome conversation. Really appreciate you. Love what you do, and yeah, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, Graham. Wish you a nice day and a nice weekend.
Awesome. Thanks, Marc. Bye.